All the health coaches, doctors, and famous fitness gurus talk about how important sleep is. And you know that too. But they never talk about shift workers. When I struggled for years as a shift worker, I felt extremely invisible to all these health insurances, ignored, as if my work and life is unimportant. It seemed like shift employees aren't even factored by the health industry, in their perfect sleep by 10, wake up by 6 mantra. Therefore, when after years of practicing routines that helped me and learning mind body practices, functional nutrition, and Ayurvedic principles, in this video, I will cut through endless garbled information and tell you about 4 workable areas that you can manage, which would help you to get control back as a shift worker. As per NIH, the workforce of shift employees in the year 2024 was estimated to be 25% of the entire global workforce. This is an increase of 15% in just the past 2 decades. And even if it is a minority, 25% translates to a massive number of people. And it's a huge minority not worth being ignored by most health talks and even researchers. Earlier, only essential service sectors manned off-hour shifts like medical, healthcare, aviation, and military. But as capitalism grew, businesses copy-pasted the manufacturing industry formula and demanded 24/7 operations from their employees, sometimes compensating them with extra pay. As I'm saying this, I wonder if bulb was a more catastrophic invention than a nuclear weapon. Sorry, Mr. Edison, I know you didn't intend it that way. Yet, there is still so much more that you can do about your lost sleep while being in shifts if you understand this. Your mind goes into restful state, ultimately leading to sleep only when it feels that there is no threat or uncertain events to deal with. One of the ways to reach this state is to accept that shift work is bad for your body and for your relationships. So, if you're working odd hours because it pays you more, sit down and seriously consider what options you have to move out of this. How you could work around lifestyle with lesser salary even. Shift work will continue to grow and also continue to affect your rest, mood irritability, stress, performance at work, and relationships at home. In fact, in the long run, over the years, lack of sleep would ultimately cause long drawn fatigue, an anxious state of mind, and massive gloominess. Now, even the WHO classifies night shift work as a probable human carcinogen, meaning it likely increases the risk of cancer. If you're working shifts where it is not possible to quit shift without being unemployed, here is what all is in your hands. Let's start by listing the 3 types of shift work patterns. The first is fixed shift. This is where you work for the same shift every day for a prolonged period, at least a month by definition, or maybe permanently. For example, if you're in a night shift at your work, you'll continue to be in a night shift for a prolonged period of time. Here, there is predictability, which is a good thing. And if you have the option to choose shifts that end by about 8 p.m. In this, form a routine that you're able to repeat every day, even if it is imperfect by some logic. Like, if you're able to go for a run in the afternoon, stick to that time every day, rather than trying to shift it later in the evenings or early in the mornings, where it is considered to be ideal. Our mind loves predictability, and it rewards the body for consistency. How does it do that? By releasing hormones which regulate your nervous system to feel safe. And you know by now, safe means rest. The second type of shift pattern is irregular shifts, where you may be working regular hours, anything between 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., but are called to pitch in for odd hours once in a while, usually a night shift or an extended shift. There is an element of uncertainty here. However, since it happens once in a while, the frequency is low. You can very well manage this by using the sleep banking and sleep anchoring technique. Sleep banking is a method where you sleep extra hours either in the daytime or during your usual night sleep, about 4 days prior to your shift work, or as soon as you get to know about it. Along with this, club it with the sleep anchoring method, where you make sure that you get your minimum 6 hours of sleep every night running up to the night shift. This is quite effective since it reduces the pressure to catch up on sleep after your shift, and you begin from a place of restedness. The third type of shift pattern is rotating shifts. This is where your shift keeps changing every fortnight or weekly or even worse, daily. Meaning, if you start with a morning shift today, you do an afternoon shift tomorrow and a night shift day after before getting some rest. And this cycle repeats. If you're working rotating shifts like I was, know that this is the toughest form of shift work. And it certainly is having an effect on you enough to feel concerned. Let's look at how we can make more sleep by correcting 4 spheres of our life. The first sphere is arranging your environment. What I mean by this is that you first accept your situation. Arrange your environment in what you are. Like I brought out, accepting calms the nervous system's fight or flight response, which arise out of getting poor rest and a feeling of being stuck. Accepting will tell your body it's okay. And once your body feels safe, it stops wasting energy to fight and you will feel more relaxed. Also, you need to take the bold step to synchronize your environment. Just as shift workers feel ignored about their health, moms working shifts feel so furthermore. Similarly, you may have many more commitments waiting for you at home, like your kids, family, socially. These things can start adding up to your lag. Speak to your spouse about how they can help you with resting after shifts. Can they take a few responsibilities while you're resting? If they are important social or family commitments, can they be met after you get sleep post your shift? If you live alone, could you silence your devices and schedule your errands after your sleep time? I know all of this is very tough to do consistently, but even a little bit of success would make you feel so good that you'll yourself be motivated to do more of it. For example, I made the tough conversation where I finally communicated to my loving husband and in-laws that I would prefer lunches over dinners and weekdays over weekends. It unsettled routines for everyone around me, but eventually we all found an equilibrium. I realized that having your close circle in alignment will eliminate a lot of wasted energy and doing things against your wishes. The second one is movement. I trust that you're already aware of how regular physical activity is vital for your bone and muscle health, for your cardiac health, and for boosting your feeling of happiness and aliveness through release of hormones. So if you are in fixed shifts, schedule your movement or physical activity for the same time every day at a fixed hour. Let's say you are able to plan only a 30-minute walk at 9 pm, which may not be ideal, but it is better to do this every day at the same time rather than losing consistency. For rotating or irregular shifts, find a suitable time block that is free in all your shift patterns and schedule your workout in that block consistently. For example, if you get back from night shift at 8 am and leave for the morning shift by 7 am, while afternoon starts at 1 pm, you have a block of about 6 am to 9 am every day. Based on your day's shift, schedule your 30-minute workout in this block every day. The third is about food And I would like to include everything that you're ingesting in this, including caffeine. I noticed that a lot of planning goes into what you'll carry for shift. And especially, there's a culture of group dinners and occasional parties on a night shift in most organizations. And that comes with a generous supply of coffee, tea, or coke. Based on how your body processes caffeine and nicotine, to maximize your alertness during the shift, I would say that you must have one coffee or tea at the beginning of your 8-hour shift, or even just leaving for work. And even if you do have to take another one, let it be at the midpoint of your shift and not beyond that, so that the stimulant leaves your body by the time you get back home to rest. I hear what's on your mind, that no, it's not easy to resist that shot. I feel it is. You can simulate sipping your tea or coffee by sipping on hot water bit by bit. If your colleagues are having coffee or tea, you can give them company by sipping on hot water. But yes, skipping the smoke breaks is more about the social support. Your strongest bet there is to ditch that group. Similarly, digestion takes a minimum of 2 hours, considering you're carrying a light meal. Plan to have this meal by 2 hours of getting home. This would help one of the body functions, that is digestion, to be complete. Otherwise, if food is had just after reaching home, while you may like to rest, the digestive system gets confused. Neither does it stop digesting since the churning is already on, nor does it let the body go to sleep. You then wake up feeling unrested and with undigested food in your body. And you know very well how an imbalanced gut over the years can disturb other functions. The last and most interesting one is about synchronizing your body to the natural rhythm. I know you've heard enough about the circadian rhythm and how sunlight exposure is good for your health. But for you, the sunlight itself becomes a problem. You need to be sleeping even when the sun is out. People just about 100 years ago went to sleep as a natural progression. Sunset by 6 pm, no artificial light, a small lamp maybe, have a light meal, their activities slowed down to a few conversations, and they went to sleep by 9 pm. And so, we will also try to do the same. I know end of shift handovers come with a lot of paperwork, but if you have control over lighting, rely on ambient light and not bright light. Switch off lights that may not be urgently needed about an hour before you are winding up your shift. As you drive back during the daytime, use tinted or polarized sunglasses to reduce the amount of sunlight hitting your eyes to wake you up. As you get home, choose to gently unwind and go to sleep rather than putting a loud morning playlist. For the room itself, dark curtains, which in my country are sold under the name of blackout curtains, are a good investment. Shut your windows, use a fan or AC to lower the temperature of room as compared to the usual day temperature. Silence your devices, block out the lights with curtains, and go to sleep with an alarm clock for at least 7 to 8 hours. Here, arranging your environment tactics would come in very handy. I went as far as silencing my doorbell, paired with a note that visitors can leave on my whiteboard. I know that may be a little too extreme, but it came as a result of fiercely prioritizing my sleep after facing disorders one after the other. All your chores, family time, social time could come after your sleep. Of course, your life won't be happening as a normal person, the 75% of workforce, And don't force yourself to do any of these changes. You would do it naturally when you feel the pull to have your health back on track as a shift employee. The bottom line is, I got more and better quality sleep once I stopped obsessing over the perfect 8-hour sleep requirement. You probably dread going to sleep because it's been years you got that. and internet has fed you all information on how this is killing you. So aim at getting rest, whatever rest you can. That, coupled with your mindful belief of accepting the reality of working shifts, making changes in your life, and asking others to be helping you with it, would recharge you enough to get better with routines and understanding your needs. One such resting tool which was very powerful in my journey was Yoga Nidra. It is a form of deep guided relaxation based on traditional Indian Vedic practices. It helped me get at least some rest when I wasn't getting enough sleep for months. A link to this powerful practice is in the description. Apart from this, you can also use other resources for inducing sleep, like sleep stories, sleep music, guided talk downs, etc. Experience some of these and see what suits you best. Could you help me refine what shift workers struggle with most in your region or country? Out of these 4 spheres, tell me what matters most to you, or if there is something else.